friends, neighbors, and of course, the YouTube comment section. Hello, and welcome back. Today, we got a weird one. We are doing a 6-pin XLR today. This is certainly a unique one for me that actually did require a bit of research to get this going. So we're building a rack panel that has a ClearComm port on it that basically this is summing channel A and channel B out of a ClearComm unit, and the customer asked us to do that over a 6-pin XLR. This is certainly showing one of my weak points, whereas I'm not as familiar with ClearComm. So again, this is just based on what the customer is asking me for. That customer didn't really specify a jack or anything, but with all the research and the one blurry picture that he sent me, I believe that it's this one. So we'll see. Maybe by the time I edit this video and publish it, I will have a little addendum in there that says I was right or wrong. But within my research, it has been a very interesting journey as far as 6-pin XLR. Apparently, Switchcraft used to make the 6-pin XLR, and now Neutrik makes a version of the 6-pin XLR. They make it both for Neutrik and for Switchcraft. So this is the Switchcraft jack with the Neutrik connector. So as you can see, this is the NC6MSXX-B connector. So the difference between the Neutrik and the Switchcraft is on the jack here. In Switchcraft, these are all kind of parallel, and one is going up just a little bit, and then Neutrik is all together on the same plane. So checking this, it mates. Thank God. So that's the big difference between them, is just one of these pins is up just a little bit. So you can kind of sort of see that this pin is up. So in the Switchcraft version of this, it's up, which is apparently what's on ClearComm. And then the Neutrik version, this top row of pins is all just aligned. So quite a bit of research was required to do that. So as far as the cable goes, this is RS-232 cable. That is the only thing that I could find that had 6 conductors in it. I'm sure that you could probably get weird and use a network cable if you had to, but again, I was trying to stick with things that were as industry standard as I could. So let's see what this guy looks like. I think this is a Belden cable, actually. Sticking with my, oh, it is. This is Belden 9538 cable. So in the typical Billy, sticking with Belden. And see how many conductors are actually in here. I ordered this stuff so long ago. I'm finally getting to this project. I honestly don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is 8 conductors with a drain line. So, you know, if it's RS-232, it's over a DB9 connector. That makes sense. So the pinout in this particular instance is not super important, because as long as they match 1-to-1 on the connector versus the jack, everything will be good. So let's just pick a color. Let's do red. Oh, hold on. Let's get rid of this little cloth guy in here. Neutrik actually does make a lot of like sort of odd XLRs. I mean, we actually do use a lot of 4-pin XLR, which is kind of not necessarily normal, but we do at LM. Mostly we use them for LED lighting. So they make 5, 6, and 7-pin XLRs. So this is my first time ever working with a 6. So let's see. Let's do red, green, blue, black, brown, orange. How about we do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing against white and yellow, but hey, we just don't need you, dudes. So they do have a ground lug in this. I am going to use a drain line and use this ground lug and just connect these two ground lugs together, because I think, to confirm here, but I would guess that this ground lug probably is chassis ground, if I had to take a guess. So while I'm unfurling the multimeter here, your first sales pitch of this entire thing, because I'm trying to be like an actual YouTube guy now. Okay, cool. That is grounding on the chassis. And then this doesn't connect to any of the pins, right? These are all ISO. Okay, cool. Because I am trying to be Mr. YouTube guy now, I do have an Amazon store. So if you're interested in any of the tools on the exceptionally messy desk, just check out the link in the description. There's a link to my Amazon store. I think I've been doing this for about a month or so. I think I made $1.50 in commission. I think somebody bought a pair of my popular Klein side cutters. So, you know, if you're interested in any of these tools, help a brother out. All right, so this is pinned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 6 being in the center. So this is kind of one of those things that I don't know that the color code particularly matters, as long as you pick a flavor and stick to it. The other thing, so with this being a silver connector, I am gonna put flux on here. Just gonna glob the ever-living crap out of it. One of the reasons why I do spec gold connectors at LM, in case you're wondering, is they are way easier to solder. Generally with, like in Neutrik world, where it's the BAG connectors, those are the silver ones. They are, you do have to tin, you do have, or excuse me, you do have to use flux when you tin them. They just seem to make the solder stick a lot better when you do that. Yikes, this is some little stuff. So, because because these solder cups are so small, I did leave quite a bit of cable length on here, just to, oops, went the wrong way. I did leave a bit of cable length on all these. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I am going to put little heat shrink guys on these. God, I've had this heat shrink left over. I did a bunch of W1 connectors. I did W1 to DB25 breakouts a while ago, and I bought this heat shrink for that project, and it has just been taking up space in my workbox ever since. That was one of the weirder adapters someone's ever asked me to make. DB25 to W1. Ooh, look at that. Oh. Okay. So I will say, and no one, I don't feel like there are enough people who care about this esoteric work that I decide to put on the internet enough to sponsor me with any of this. But what I will say is that if you're doing any type of soldering project, the difference between an easy soldering project and a difficult soldering project oftentimes is your helping hands. And I use these quad hands all the time, and I've had this same one since probably 2018 or so. I think I bought this for the aforementioned DB25 to W1 project, and my God, they are amazing. So again, not sponsored in any way, but if you're looking for a set of helping hands, I should say, if you don't have a set of helping hands, get one. And if you're looking for one, get the quad hands, because they're awesome. I think I'm going to take a break here for a second and grab my jeweler's magnifying glass headgear so that I can see this, so stand by. Oh yeah, way, way better. In case you're wondering, that sound that you might be hearing that sounds like a stampede is all of the girls running away from me with this sweet jeweler's magnifying glass gear on. Yeah. Now, I grab some tweezers, actually. All right, for the sake of interesting YouTube content, I'm going to time-lapse this, so here we go. All right, that actually was not all that bad, to be honest. I think this actually came out pretty good. Looks like a good one, like you buy at the store. I'm kidding, kidding, kidding. So this is the rack panel that this is going into. So this is IC A plus B, intercom A plus B. So I am just going to get this guy threaded through here. So I figured it's probably easier to get this guy mounted before. This is always the tricky thing about doing. Any type of filming project for you guys is it takes about double the amount of time to build a project if I'm filming it versus me just doing it. So stand by. I gotta get some clamps. I didn't think about this part. All right, and we're back. That was me being not prepared, as per usual. Man, I got a new tool. Speaking of, these are these Knipex side pliers. My God, did they make a huge difference in building rack panels. You would think that a side or a bent tool like this wouldn't make that much of a difference, but it makes a huge difference. Why? I don't know. But from an ergonomical standpoint, they're really good. I mean, they're basically the same thing as my normal Klein needle nose that I normally use. But just for working on these little tedious kind of little baby 440 nuts and screws, especially with rack panels, you could just get so much more leverage on it, which again, I'm sure that somebody with a good knowledge of physics can tell me why, but I begrudgingly spent $55 on these pliers. But they're pretty cool. So if you're building rack panels, I would suggest grabbing a set of these. Check that old Amazon store. For a lot of connectors like XLRs and things like that, you can generally use a nut driver, but sometimes it's just too little clearance. So the other thing that I am going to do with this is I'm going to put a standoff on here. And what that is going to allow me to do, and for those of you not familiar with a standoff, this is a standoff. Basically, it is a female nut that is very big. And what the standoff, let's see, we're upside down. What the standoff will allow me to do is it'll allow me to take the strain off of the solder connections on here. So we'll screw our standoff in like that so that it's nice and tight. And then we use something called a cable saddle. And we're just going to use the same Torx 440 screw that we used on the front. I'm out of my 1 1/4 ones. This is only 1 inch, so it'll have to suffice. But what this will allow us to do is put a little loop on here like this so that the strain isn't on the solder. But these are things that I try not to do until this is done. I try to leave myself little trails of breadcrumbs on projects like these so that I know if there's heat shrink in the label and all that kind of stuff, it's done and QC'd. So speaking of label, I'm gonna grab a label for this really quick. All right, and we're back. Sorry, my levels of scatterbrained disorganization are even stronger today than they normally are. And the desk is extra messy too, yikes. Sorry, guys. Oh, some of you always comment on my videos as to why I keep a long pinky nail and a long thumbnail. This is why, just so you guys know. The pinky nail is generally for heat shrink. The thumbnail is generally for network cable. And here, you guys were just thinking I was cool and liked to party. I'm not, just a nerd who builds a lot of cables. Speaking of, here's your sales pitch for the day. If you guys are interested in any of this kind of stuff, you can, a lot of the standardized stuff you can buy from me directly. If you just want to check out our website, is lmcasesonline.com. That's our web store. And if you're interested in custom builds, you can check out lmcases.com. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there. If you're interested in road cases or any of the integrated systems that we build here at LM, you can check that stuff out. Oh, Instagram too. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. It's billylaguardia.wave, like the audio file. Ha ha ha, because I'm so clever. Or if you want to check out LM on their Instagram, or our Instagram, it's LM_cases. Some cool stuff on there. You get to see like the finished versions of a lot of these things. I feel like a lot of it is sort of esoteric with this stuff. You don't really know what it's going into, but you can see the finished stuff on there. Oh, what I was saying about LM. God, I distracted myself. If you want to buy like connectors and stuff like that on the web store, lmcasesonline.com, you can buy raw connectors from us. And raw cable and things like that too. So if they're anything like this, I don't know that I'll put 6-pin XLRs on the web store, but hey, you never know. That seems like a bit of an esoteric kind of thing, even for me who lives in that world. All right, on to time lapse. Sorry, talking too much. All right, y'all. Well, that wraps this one. So if you're curious about the 6-pin XLR, hope this helps anything or any questions that you may have had. I hope this video solves it. I guess if you have any questions, just drop a comment below, and we'll get you squared away. I'm sure that this will incite some interesting discourse on this. This is probably getting more into industrial and control and less audio visual. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. Catch you on the next one. See ya.